Okay, make sure you switch on your camera. I want to see you guys. Okay, for the first 15 minutes. And it's good for you to switch on throughout classes. Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I believe you guys hear my voice. Okay. So good afternoon, everyone. So we will start exactly at 2 p.m. Thank you very much for your early participation. Okay. Usually the class with me, if I start, I will always start exactly at 2. Okay, so that's it's good for you to join the class maybe 1:55, yeah, right? So that we can, so the early we start, then we can finish early, all right? Finish early, and also I can teach you a lot of things without any rush, okay? All right. So later on, I will share the things that you have to install in your computer. Yeah? Okay, because we are going to use one application for you to write the codes. Okay, so I already make the videos, and that videos are already been YouTube lah. So later I will share with you the link. Yeah? So you just follow the guideline how to do the installation. Okay, don't just follow the instruction in the video. That is okay. It's very easy and very straightforward. Okay, you don't have to Google any other methods. Yeah, otherwise your system will not similar with my system. So nanti susah sikit. So the best way is you follow the things that I ask you to install. Okay, all right. Okay, so yeah, so okay, so for those who just coming, please write down your name in the chat box. So later on also, if it's good for you to switch on your camera throughout the classes, okay, and also I will take another attendance at the end of this class. So I'm not sure until what time our class. So we've just finished our chapters today. Okay, so no worry, our chapters today basically we don't have any, kita tak buat program. Okay, so what we need to do is we only learn how to basic first, we understand the concept first, and then hopefully by next week we start do the program. Okay, so when we start do the program, so I might request you guys to submit some of the works for quizzes. Okay, and because I have videos for the classes already, so in sometimes maybe we don't have to have this kind of classes, understand that? Okay, I means that I provide the video that I made, and then you do the example, you submit that, I also can consider that as your attendance. Okay, so all these will be informed through a WhatsApp or through the through our Google Classroom. Okay, so I apply two way of teaching. First is synchronous. Synchronous is this way. So you have to join the class by live class. Another class is by using, we call it asynchronous. So it means that the teaching material already been pre-recorded, then will be shared with you, so you can learn anytime, any place, anywhere. But you have to submit the works. Okay, the work is easy. The things that I taught in the class, you have to follow and then do the submission. That's it. Okay, so that's it. Okay, all right. So yeah, I will share the slides for our lesson today. Okay, so yesterday is holiday, so I also teach another section. This is for reminders. Okay, okay. One more thing. My storage in Google Drive already been full. So what we can do is you are allowed to record the screen by your own, and this is for your own copy. Okay, so the class, for example, you want to record the session of our lesson today, so you can record that. Okay, tak ada masalah. Okay, I cannot record because my memory already full for my Google Classroom. Okay, so one of the best way, maybe you boleh lantik lah, nanti mungkin ketua kelas boleh discuss siapa yang, okay, hari ni siapa record, then you share amongst yours. Okay, that should be convenient also. Okay, so you all masing-masing record dia punya sendiri. Okay, so learn a few software to record the screen. Okay, sekali dengan audio lah, jangan record screen saja. Make sure you record with the audio sekali. Okay, alright. So another one, that material is for you lah. Do not share with the others lah kalau boleh. Ya, ini untuk kelas-kelas kita. Okay, anything that kita bincangkan adalah kelas kita lah. If you share with others, they will confuse. Ini kelas satu lagi. Mungkin ada instruction that you have to submit the assignment. Okay. All right. So, in previous class, we already learned about how the architecture of the computer, how the computer works, right? So, macam mana komputer tu berfungsi lah. Okay. So, the intention, how do we give the instruction to the computer? How do we interact with the computer? Okay, when we interact with the computer, for example, when I use a certain kind of software, then what actually happened in the background? Okay, so you see that software is the interface that we can communicate with computer. Okay, so those software we call as a application software, which is installed at your operating system ataupun system software. Okay, so in order your application software capable to communicate with your system hardware and also system software, so we need interpreter. Okay, it has to send the instruction to the system software so that it can communicate with your hardware. Okay, for example, when I double click somewhere here, okay, I right click somewhere here, so you see it sends some sort of instruction. This software will display the context menu here for me to make a selection to execute some tasks. Okay, so you see different kind of software, different instruction when I interacting with my devices. Okay, for example, my mouse. If you're playing game, the instruction of the keyboard, A, W, D, S, D, that's mean forward, backward, left, right? Okay, so you see the instruction is different. So that's computer software, application software has its own memory. Okay, I mean the memory already saved for the application software. So today we are going to learn more about the interpreter component. Okay, so this interpreter component we call as a program. Okay, the program. Okay, so before you do any software development, so you have to develop the program first. Okay, so this program is contained. Okay, program ni adalah satu set of instruction. Okay, it's a set of instruction that tells the computer what to do. Okay, for example, if I want to communicate with you, student, please switch on your camera, for example. So I will communicate with you using languages that been understood by both of us. Right? I understand, you understand. Then the message, the instruction is reached to you, understood by you. So if I want to give the instruction to the computer, a very simple example is please calculate 1 plus 1. So when you interact with the computer, you cannot simply say this like this. Okay, so you have to give the instruction to the computer. That instruction couldn't be activated just by voices. But nowadays, there are very advanced kind of AI software that allow our computer to recognize our voice instruction. But actually, when it detecting our voice audio, dia pun have been translated into the computer punya language. Actually, the computer does not understand our voices. Okay, so later on we'll see what is the things that computer understand. Okay. All right. So I think I want to share with you another slide. I have a lot of slides here. Okay, so this slide is the latest one that I made. Wait for a while. Yeah, this one. I just prepared this one. Wait, yeah. Okay. Okay. So you see, you have to understand these three terminologies first. Okay. A program is something that you want to give the instruction, a set of instruction that you want to use to give the instruction to the computer what to do. Okay. So programming is something like a process of works. For example, computer programming means that it's a process of works, not only limited into typing the code. Okay, ramai orang ingat dia buat programming ni hanya untuk buat code. No. Okay, the programming is about solving the problem using a structured approach. Okay, for example, if you want to solve for 1 plus 1, you can simply say that just type 1 plus 1, but in programming, you have a step, a sequence, how to solve 1 plus 1. Okay, it's not simply just do it mathematically like that. Okay, so you have to design the workflow, you have to design the flowchart, the algorithm that defining the solution process of the problem. Okay, then after you have the algorithm, then you might start to write your code. Okay, so in some cases, most people saying that programming 50-50. 50% to understand the problem, design your workflow, okay, design the flowchart, design the algorithm, okay. Another 50% could be writing the program, okay. And then, yeah, mix out all those things. When you write a program, there are a lot of things also happen, okay. So for example, you have to debug, you have to find an error, how to treat that problem. So there are a lot of activities there. Okay, so then the one that make the program we call as a programmers. You are the programmers right now. You make the program, then you are the programmers. Okay, so this is easy. You can read it. Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, I want to talk about the programming, yeah? Using a different slides. Okay, so you see here we have the problem. Now the problem is what? 1 plus 1 is the problem. Very easy. A very simple problem to add two numbers. Could be 1 plus 1, 2 plus 1, 3 plus 1. Okay? By the way, if I ask you 3 plus 1, you can instantly ask, you can instantly respond for the answers, right? Okay? So the input is through my voice, and I communicate with you the right language that you understand. Okay? In computer, if I want to give the instruction for the computer to solve for two additional numbers, 1 plus 3, for example, 1 plus 2, 1 plus 5. So I cannot simply talk. Okay, I just cannot simply talk. Okay, you need to have the software as the interface, or software or a program that can communicate with your CPU. Okay, so for example, I have problem, and then how? Okay, then you need to make a program. Contoh kalau you punya smartphone tak ada software, boleh tak dia recognize dia punya voice? Tak boleh kan? Okay, so you need to have the software that could translate our voices. And how that software works, actually, it sends the instruction to your CPU, central processing unit, to be interpreted. So what the output should be. Okay, ingat tak? Dia ada input, process, and output hardware. Okay, so in this case, I need to talk to my computer. Okay, so in order to give the instruction to the computer, I need to use a specific languages. Okay, macam kita, I use English or Bahasa Melayu to give the instruction to teach you guys. For the computers, I need to use a specific language we call as a programming languages. Okay, the mother of computer language only one. Okay, computer only recognize what we call as a machine language. Okay? Computer only recognize a machine language. So back to 30 years ago or 20 years ago, 30, I guess, maybe 40. Okay. The programmers, they have to, ini siapa ni Abdul Rashid ni? Who is this Rashid? Baru datang. Okay. Rashid, are you here me? Rashid Awis Abdullahi.
Yes, doctor.
Why you just joined? This is 2:15.
Yeah, I was waiting that you will put the Google Meet on the WhatsApp group.
Why? I don't have to put that in the WhatsApp group. The
Oh,
class is at 2 unless there is a announcement, no class.
yeah,
I
I
already
was so
mentioned this. Otherwise, I'm not taking your attendance for today. Okay, please.
okay, doctor.
No play.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, continue. Okay, I don't like late. Okay, I start early. Okay, so one thing, the class will be start at 2. I don't have to every time, every week. Oh, this is our class today. This is our class. No need. Okay. Next time also when you back to the campus, you also have to go to the class without any announcement. Okay. The announcement will be made if, let's say, we don't have class. Okay. If, let's say, there is public holiday, automatically there will be no class. You don't have to ask. Okay. Because yesterday is public holiday, there is another class that I taught, section 2. The students still ask me, is there any class? If there is holiday, please holiday. Okay? Please holiday. If there is holiday, just holiday. Happy. Okay? But if there is no holiday, there is a class. Okay? For those who late than 10 minutes, I will not take your attendance. I remember that. Okay? My system already automatically generate the attendance for those who come late or come early. Okay? All right. Shall I continue? Okay, otherwise it will be disturbing. Okay, so I hope you understand. Okay, if you my position, you feel the things. If something you are very in the middle of this and then suddenly people come, it's not appropriate lah. Yeah? Okay, we have manners here. Okay, so machine language. Yeah. All right. So I want to talk to computer, so I have to communicate with my CPU brain using a machine language. Okay, this is the origin of the language to communicate with the computer. Okay, so the machine language comprises of the binary numbers. Okay, this is the binary numbers 001. If I'm not sure in your high school before, form 3, form 5, maybe you learn a little bit about binary numbers. Okay, in physics subjects, for example. Okay, I'm not sure you still remember or not. Okay, the logic 01. What is the combination of 0001? Okay, so this is a binary number, only 0 and 1. Okay, so you see, if I give the instruction, the computer recognize this. But how about human? Do we understand this? Tak faham kan? Okay, if I give the instruction to the computer, for example, calculate the multiplication of 879 times this, the computer will recognize that. But if I give this kind of instruction, the computer understands. But in order to write this, it's very difficult. Okay? It's very difficult. It's readable by the computers, but not for the human. Okay? Not for the human. Okay? All right. So that's why people inventing the programming languages. Mana dia tadi? Okay, the programming languages here. Okay, so these programming languages, okay, is designed so that can be understood by the human. Okay, but of course it has to be interpreted or be compiled into a machine language juga, nampak tak? Because the computer doesn't recognize even the programming languages. So the computer will recognize after you interpret this language into a machine language. That's it. Okay? Don't be confused that, oh, the computer understands the programming language. The computer is understand machine language and also the programming language that already been interpreted or compiled into a machine language. Itu saja. Okay? So you see the machine language, this is the machine we use we use the programming language to type the instruction, this one. This is a computer program to multiply two numbers, A and B. Okay. Maybe right now, for those who just new here, maybe this is a little bit difficult to you. For those who learned programming before, I can understand this. Maybe you can understand this. Okay. But you see this one, it's more readable, right? Kita boleh paham sikit. Perkataan multiply, the written. Okay. If you learn later, you understand. Now, maybe it's difficult. That's why you have to learn. Okay. Compare to the machine language like this. Right? So, what happened? This programming or source code will be interpreted as mentioned. Then it will be processed by the computer. Your CPU able to interpret this instruction in the binary form. Okay, and will generate the output that you want. Okay, so in our class, we are not learning machine language, we learn programming language. Okay, so the programming language that we choose is what we call as a Python. Okay, so Python is the languages that we will use in our classes. Okay, so let's take a look into this type. Okay, this is the root of the languages, machine language. And then after a few years, they invent one of language we call the assembly language. Okay, so still also the instruction is not that easy to be understood. Okay, not that easy, but it requires assembler to assemble the language into a binary language or machine language. Okay, ini assembly is another type of low level. So machine language also considered as a low level language. Kenapa dia dipanggil low level? Low level doesn't mean it's easy. Low level indicating it's nearest to the computer language. The things that be understood by the computer. Higher level language means that it's more understood to the human. Okay, so nowadays people inventing the languages that could be used to communicate with the computer in order to make a program. Okay, for example, we have Python, we have C++, we have Fortran, we have JavaScript, we have Java, we have C#, okay, we have COBOL, what else? We have the things that I can remember, MATLAB. Yeah, MATLAB is more into mathematical solution. Okay, we have R. Okay, so these are the languages, high level languages. Okay, high level programming language. Okay, so the instruction is more like English. Kalau tadi more like mathematical, betul tak? Numbering, everything is number. Okay, the computer only knows number. Itu yang penting. Okay, so a single instruction can be written correspond to many operation in the machine level. So for example, I want to just print hello world. It's very easy. Just I print hello world, just like that. Okay, all right. Okay, wait. Okay. So what happened before programming? Okay, so most of the things that we have to do is manually. Okay, we have to do it manually, and if you do things manually, you will require more time to complete it, right? And then due to the human, we also have a weakness. Sometimes we make an error. So sometimes the error, it's more higher rate of error happen if the problem is getting more complex. Okay, so that's why we need a software or program that could automate the process of working with data, for example, of executing some tasks, for example, performing a structure analysis using a software instead of calculating it, correct? Okay, determine the deflection of the beam using a software instead of calculating it. Okay, all right. So, and another important thing is learning the programming. You can make a program that able to be customized based on your own preferences. Okay, for example, now you use your computer, you use the software in your computer. Okay, and then what happened after that? The software you cannot customize, right? If it is used for that one, then it's used for that one. But if if you do your own program, you can customize the code, and it's free. Okay, that's important. Okay. So what is the Python? So we talk about the languages study. So one of the languages that we use is Python. Okay, Python is the language we use. Okay, so it's open source and also a high level programming languages. As I mentioned, high level means that understood by the human. Okay, it's a more English like. The instruction is print hello world. I understand that. I want to display some sort of text that name as a hello world. Okay, so open source means that there are a lot of packages. Okay, a lot of packages available to work with Python. Okay, and we have a big community of Python. Okay, if you Google your problem, you just type the problem. Okay, for example, you run the program, right? You run your program, but error happen. Copy paste and put in your Google. There will be a lot of discussion there. Okay, so that is what we call as open source. People contributing to the development of the program, the languages, the packages, and also people contributing to solve the community problem related with Python. So that's open source. Okay, another one is free. You don't have to pay anything. Okay, so that's why if you good in programming, in the future you want to take apa nama ni? You want to bila you nak buat you punya PSM, final year project, okay, you will get a lot of advantages. Okay, for example, if you want to do the project with me, of course, you need to know how to use this. This is one of the software that I use. Another one is, there is another machine learning software that I use. Of course, I use these to work with my data. Okay. Okay. So what's cool about programming? If you understand how to do the modeling, you don't have to do the experiment. That's good about it. Okay. And it's actually easy. People are afraid about programming because because you watch a lot of movies, I guess, showing that the programming is about hacking, the programming. Okay, so you watch too much, maybe. Okay, actually, the programming is not all about that. Okay, programming is about helping people. Programming is about helping yourself to work the data. Okay, make your own software. Maybe you will reach some days making your own apps. Who knows? Okay, who knows? Can you are more creative at a young age? Learn a lot. It's easy for you. Okay, all right. Okay, so a lot. Okay, application. Okay, for example, in my own works. Okay, I use for my intelligent system application. For example, data science, machine learning, yeah, image processing. Okay, all right. So the tools that we use to write our program is we call as a Jupyter Notebook. So these are the things that I want you to install later on. Okay, so later I will share the Google the link for you to do the installation. So please install that before you come to the class next week. Okay, right? So Python, how powerful is Python? Okay, so you see here, even the YouTube use Python, but of course there are a lot of integration that have to make. Okay, a lot of software had to be integrated together, not only Python languages, tetapi dia punya recommendation system. Okay, how do you realize your recommendation system? Whenever you open your YouTube, it will shows you the recommendation, right? The video, the video that recommended to you. I believe 80% of the chance you will watch it, even 90%. Kita jarang kita buka, kita juga ada buka YouTube untuk we also open our YouTube apps in order to find the videos. Okay, for example, I want to learn machine learning, so I find it there. But in most cases, we open the YouTube and then it will suggest the video that we want to watch and then we watch it. Sama juga Netflix. So this is what we call as a recommendation engine. And in Netflix and YouTube, the recommendation engine is developed using a Python. Okay. Another one is Raspberry Pi. Okay. Raspberry Pi is a kind of how to say it? It's a hardware interface. Okay, for IoT programming. Okay, it's a hardware interface for you to do the IoT programming. IoT. Have you heard about IoT? Internet of Things. Okay, Internet of Things, something like, okay, switch on my light, so the system will detect my voice and then switch on. That is an IoT system, Internet of Things. Everything is connected using the internet. Okay, nowadays we have the what we call CCTV system. If I'm in Sarawak, for example, then I want to monitor my house, I just log into the application. I can monitor my CCTV. So that is IoT. Okay, Internet of Things. Okay, all right. So all these things are developed using a Python. Can work with Python. So that's why Python is a very powerful languages in the world right now. And you can put it in your CV. You have Python. You learn Python during your study. Okay. All right. So let's go back to chapter 2. We will complete the chapter 2. So after that, we start with hands-on. Okay. My method of teaching is mixed. I call it a mix. Means that while we code, we learn theory. While we code, we learn theory. So that it will be not bore for you. Okay. But for the first and second weeks, I want you to supply with the theory first. Okay. So the books, for those who order, okay, I already received. So the latest date that we will courier to you is on Monday. Okay. And for those who are in Batu Pahat, or you are in the campus, you can come to my office. We will schedule that time. Okay, and probably on Thursday lah. Biasa saya free on Thursday afternoon. Are you free? Most of you guys free, right? Thursday afternoon? Or you guys have a class, or you guys have ya, ada apa ya? Ada tak? Guys free tak? Any idea? Free kebanyakan free. For those who just want to come lah. Bukan semua lah ya, yang nak datang je. The rest is I courier to you. Okay. Alright, so chapter 2 kita, I think we can finish at 3:15, something like that. Okay. 3:30. Okay. Or you want to rehat, tak payahlah tak penat pun Okay, kita continue lah Saya pun seronok cakap Okay, continue Okay. Alright, so chapter 2 is more into program development life cycle. Okay. Program development life cycle. Okay. Teng Heng Yu. Teng nama dia. Yeah, so before this, have you do any programming before? Oh, in your diploma di UTHM juga? Okay, so what you learn there? Apa yang you ingat lah? I'm not testing you, just something that maybe you remember. Yeah. What type of project that you done in your diploma? Yeah. Food order. Oh, okay. Who's your lecturer? Someone that I know, maybe? Lupa. Okay, tak apa. Food order, okay. All right, that's a good project. Okay, that's good. Thank you. Yeah. Oh, Rosli, I see. Yeah. So, what do you think about that C++? Is it easy or okay? Boleh So you will find that Python is more easy after this. Definitely, it will be more easy. Okay. So anyway, thank you for your sharing. So in our class after this, okay, the project must related with civil engineering. Okay, it couldn't be dia tak boleh subject related with marketing, because it doesn't related with our courses. So in this class, your project must be related with civil. Okay, something that, for example, to determine the deflection of the beam, there are a lot of equations. So I want to do that. Okay, so I just want to share with you my students, my final year students. So what I do is she use a Python. Okay, there are 3 of them. One of them use a Python to design. Okay, to design a software that can analyze the beam and design the beam. Okay, recommended how many bars, what is the thickness of the beam for the construction. Another one they use for image processing. Okay, so how they detect a leakage from the image. Okay? Another one is to develop a machine learning model also to detect a leakage using certain parameters. Okay, none of them, only one do experiment. None of them not doing any experiment. So that is the advantage of them. Okay, during the pandemics. So if you have to rely on experiment, you cannot go to the lab. So that's good about programming. Okay, but of course with me it's a little bit tough lah. You have to work harder. Okay, you have to work hard. Yeah. All right. So you see, in any project of programming, you need to design. You need to follow a certain flow. For example, the student that doing a software to analyze the beam, okay, simply supported beam, and then recommend a design. Okay, so she cannot simply write just like that. Okay, so there is a process the steps there. So in chapter 2 here, we are going to learn a very generic process, and then later on we will go into more deeper. Okay, we will go into more deeper. Okay, so a PDLC. Okay, so in your project, I want to see the PDLC element. Okay, dalam instruction tu jelas nanti. Okay, so ramai student, most of student, they asking the something that I already mentioned in the class, some things that I already put in the instruction. For example, over there mentioned the project must related with civil. Dia tanya lagi, boleh tak saya buat apa ya? Boleh tak saya buat untuk calculate profit and loss punya program? Mana boleh, tak ada kaitan. Yeah. So that already been, memang saya tak respond. Okay, any kind of that question, the things that I already put in the instruction, okay. Jangan tanya yang itulah. Okay, so for example PDLC element, apa yang kena ada? Okay. Contoh, you have to show the analysis. How do you analyze? Okay, the problem. Okay, so if you Google the internet, there are a lot of references showing you this is PDLC. This is PDLC. PDLC is representing program development life cycle. Okay. All right. So it's a life cycle. Okay. So it's showing you the structured process of developing a program. Could be a simple program or could be higher end program. Okay. So the first thing that I have to do is to do the analysis. Okay, to do the analysis. Given the problem, for example, I want to analyze the beam deflection. Okay, jangan juga korang buat beam deflection ya. Ini example je. If you want to do a beam deflection, you have to make it more advanced. Project 50%, 50. Okay, so the expectation is quite high there. Okay. So what is the problem when I want to analyze the beam? I have to do the calculation, right? 10 beam, 10 kali manual calculation. How much time that you require to do that? Okay, so that is your problem statement. A single beam, a single simply supported beam, you know how thick? I'm not sure. You haven't go to the design class yet, I guess. Okay, so that's why I'm not expect you to do the design. Kalau you keluar design tiba-tiba, memang something wrong lah. Okay, I don't expect you to do design lah. Okay, analyze is okay. Design, saya rasa you tak boleh buat. Okay, but just an example here. I want to design a beam, simply supported beam. So one beam, I need maybe 3 days to do it manually. And I need a thick papers, okay, to come up with that design. Jangan salah, banyak salah lagi. So that is a problem here. Okay, so you bolehlah come up with, okay, berapa lama you kena siap 3 hari, and then you waste a lot of and then there are a lot of errors sometimes happen when you do the manual calculation. Okay, so here your problem that you want to solve is, I want to have a simple program that enable me to analyze my beam and also design a simpler supported beam. As easy as that. Okay, so what is the specification of that program? It could be based on my operating system. I want that to be run in my MacBook only, Android application, or maybe Windows phone, Windows computer. Okay, if you want to do for Android, you use a different programming language, you use a different interface to write that program. Okay, So I also make my own apps before. One app I publish, but sekarang ni dia tak ada lagi sebab kurang download. Okay, I still remember that time is 100 plus je lah download dia. Saya pun, that's why I do this kind of project for my own satisfaction. It's not all about money. I want to try, I want to understand what's the process. Even I invest the money. Okay, invest the money to publish it in Android. I have to pay 25 USD, 35. If I publish in iOS punya store, Apple store, more expensive. I need to pay 99 USD per year. But I don't want lah. So I want only make Android apps. That's happened in 3 or 4 years ago. Okay, so how can I find a time? So every night I code. Okay, every night for 6 months, I guess. For 6 months. So I learned a new language, Java. I learned Android ecosystem. Finally, I get it. Okay, and then publish it. Okay, yeah, some review is good, yeah, but I don't care. I just want to publish and see how. Okay, no money. Okay, I'm not sure. I think they withdraw it already because I didn't maintain the application. Okay, so you have to do the maintenance, because you see the Android nowadays. I'm not sure the latest Android berapa, saya tak tahu. Okay, lama saya tak guna Android punya devices, so I'm not aware on that. So you have to update. Okay, so that is also you will see in this workflow nanti dalam kita punya PDLC. Okay, so and then you have to specify the input and output data. Okay, so if you want to check the deflection of the beam, so what you need? The input. Okay, the force, type of forces, maybe. Is it distributed force? Is it a point load? Okay. What is the type of the support dia? Continuous, fixed support ataupun pin support. So you have to know this is the input information that you have to get. Very simple example is about ni tentang apa nama ni about if I want to make a program to calculate the area of that particular shape. Okay, if rectangular, I know I need to know the height and also the width, right? Okay, so that is the input. Okay, and then what is the process required to calculate the area? Height times width, correct? Okay, so that is the requirement that you have to specify. Okay, and then you go to the design phase. Okay, you go to the design phase. Okay, so in design phase, okay, you have to, if you do software, it focus on designing the interface. If you do the program, you are designing the logical steps. Okay, the logical step, if you see here. Okay, to solve the problem. Okay, for example, I want to calculate the area of rectangular. Terus saya kira rectangular area macam tu program kita. No, tak kan? The instruction should be like this. First, apa input yang diperlukan? That is the question. Okay, that is the first thing. Okay, what's the input? And then apa proses dia? Panjang, darat, lebar, length time width. And then what's the output? Okay, so all these have their own sequences. And these sequences must be in logical steps. Okay, this logical step is what we call as algorithm. Ini yang kita panggil algorithm. Okay, saya adalah tengok some sort of things that people talk outside. They talk about, oh, kita pakai algorithm. Algorithm, you see, if you learn programming, you know a lot. The terms, okay, where the people make wrong analogies about the term. Okay, kalau you tengok movie, okay, the algorithm, apa dia cakap I'm not sure you watch any kind of hacker punya movie tak? Ada satu, saya lupa nama dia, John Travolta, dia punya lama lah movie tu. Okay, it's about hacking juga. It's about the chip algorithm. Okay, so actually algorithm is required for you to open the crack, for example, in that movies. Okay, to open some sort of passwords, yeah. So they require algorithm macam nak crack algorithm. Okay, so most simplest algorithm we will learn in this case, in this lesson. Okay, dalam kita punya programming class. Okay, so it's a logical sequence. Ini dia punya term ayat yang paling sesuai. Defined as a logical order or sequence of instruction. Very easy things. I want to go to office sekarang ni. Saya katakan I want to go to my office in UTHM, right? There are a lot of ways, right? If I have a kapal terbang, I can use that. Helicopter, I can use that. I can use my car. I can use my bicycle. Betul? Okay. So it depends on what's available first. And then if I want to go to my office, I need to, the structured way, I need to wear my clothes. Betul tak? And then I need to put my slippers. And then I need to take my key so that I can drive my car, start the engine. Okay. For example, if I forget to wear my slippers, still I can reach to my office, correct? But maybe I have a little bit problem. Okay, my injured, slow a little bit. I cannot walk fast. Okay, so that's why a good program, the optimized solution, what we call as the one that gives the best result, could be faster, accurate. Dua benda ni penting. Faster and accurate. Kalau faster tak accurate pun tak guna. Okay, you will miss the result. Kalau dia kadang-kadang mungkin dia tak faster tapi dia accurate, kita boleh terima ni. Tapi from time to time we have to upgrade supaya dia cepat. Oh, good news. Have you watched WWDC 2 hari lepas? Pukul 1 pagi, I think semalam. Saya lupa dah. I forget. I think 18, 19 hari bulan semalam lah. So pagi semalam. Pukul 12, pukul 1 pagi. So you see the Apple release a very exciting new product. Upgrade lah MacBook Pro. Sekarang baru dia bagi HDMI cable. HDMI port. Sebelum ni dia bagi Type-C 2 biji. Sekarang ni dia okay sikit. Okay? And you see the processor that they apply, they use a Mac Silicon, you know. Okay? And this kind of processing unit are definitely very faster. But you see, this kind of company, how they make a business. Okay? Kalau dulu ada M1 chip. Now they make M1 Pro. And then another one is M1 Max. Okay? So, if I want to buy a computer, I have to think, wah, tambah sikit, saya guna M1 Pro, lagi kuat. Tambah sikit. So, sometimes, dia bagi kita satu, a lot of selection there. So, different type of product, ataupun specification, go to different group of people. Okay, so sangat advanced I think. Apple right now is quite okay. Kalau dulu saya tengok dia punya design, sama macam ni. Tapi in term of features, I'm not promoting. I didn't get paid to promote this technology, but I'm interested to know. Just please watch the video and you will see. Okay, it's very interesting technology. So apa kita? Oh, ni algorithm, algorithm. Okay. So, as I mentioned earlier, in order for me to get from my home to my office in UTHM, I can use a lot of ways. Okay, and then sometimes, for example, if I'm not use a car, I can walk, but I reach there lambat lah. It takes me time. Okay, but sometimes if I use car, then I can get that easily. But if let's say I don't have, for example, I don't want to walk, I cannot reach there. Ada juga issue. Sometimes error happen. You cannot get the output. Same also in your program. So you have to debug it. Okay. For example, if there is a requirement for me to use a boat, for example, ada sungai, there is a river there, but there is no boat. So maybe I cannot reach there. I can swim, but what happens if I cannot swim? Okay, so how can I reach there? But I know how to swim lah. Ada yang tak pernah berenang. Of course, I'm Sarawakian, I know how to swim. Okay, so we've been trained unprofessionally to swim in the river. Last time I like to play when I child, when I still child, junior school, oh, I like to swim, playing in the water, but now I don't like. Okay, I don't like swimming. Tak tahu kenapa. Bila dah ni, macam tak perlu kot benda tu. Okay, so last time I like swimming, and if you know how to swim, you even can float your body. You can lie down baring dekat air. Boleh. But you have to control the way you breathing, benda tu. And of course, benda ni this kind of skill, I don't go to the class lah. We just go there and experience. So some learning, you have to, sometimes proper education, proper training bagus. Dia ajar you cara betul lah. But experience also can get you some knowledge, right? Kita tahu sendiri ya. Okay. So I prefer I learn things by myself actually. Okay. Sebab tu student saya kalau boleh dia independent, I like it. Okay. So even last time during my study, saya tak pernah tanya lecturer, macam mana selesaikan ni? No. Saya hanya tanya kawan ataupun saya cari sendiri. Kawan is easy mah. Okay, lecturer you cari pun susah. Nanti dia cerita lagi you tak faham, itu lagi susah. Okay, kalau kawan, it's easy. Okay, so that's why independence is very important. Okay. Most students, because you guys haven't go to university yet, you didn't know the value of education. Sebenarnya. The value of education not only for you to learn, go to the class. It's about how do you communicating with others. Okay, socializing, make friends, work in the group. Itu sebenarnya value dia. Okay, so I hope next semester memang semua boleh balik lah. Kalau tak, kelas online rugi lah. Rugi you guys. One of the things that if you go to my class, if you late, you will experience how you will be get out from the class. Itu satu experience. But of course from there you will learn. You learn from the experience how to get kicked out from the class, been scolded, and then you tak berani pun lewat lagi. Itu for me is a way of learning lah. Some student that took personally, I'm not sure. Even I don't remember who I'm scolding. So please just enjoy lah. Kita marah pun, okay, we want to train you. That's it. Okay. I'm not sure I taught you a story that I've been. My sensei is Japanese, a real Japanese. Okay, a very old sensei, my professor. When I walk slow, dia marah. You woman or man? First, you feel lined up. Okay, so that's the first thing. Okay, and he say, why you walk like this? Okay, are you child? Kena lagi if I late. Sampai satu masa memang saya sangat laju lah. And my professor is very fast walking. So when I go to Japan, I learn a lot lah. First, I learn how to walk fast. That is the value that I still remember until now. and then I work fast and accurate. That is important. Okay. Alright. So if you go to overseas, ya, jalan-jalan lepas pandemik ni, ya, tahun depan boleh jalan lah. Learn the culture. Kalau saya suka jalan, not only for happy. Sometimes I jalan to work, I need an inspiration, a new place. Okay, I like writing a books. Okay, the books that you use, I write for my student so that I have a reference. Okay, and I like to do writing. So sometimes I write where I go for holiday, and then I write in the hotel. A very nice, relax, senyap. Oh, it's very good. So so along the times you like kali you kerja, you pun kena carilah something that you really like to do. Okay, so that is just a story. That's why now it's already 3, so I have to speed up a little bit. Okay, algorithm belum habis cerita kita algorithm tadi. Padahal kalau saya nak habis sudah selesai ni. Okay, so when I talk about designing the works, the order, okay, of our program. Okay, first it must be easy to be understood. Okay, we call this as ambiguous. Okay, minimalist. I'm not sure you heard about the concept of minimalist before. I like that concept. Okay, minimalist. Saya tak suka beli barang banyak. Kalau saya beli yang bagus terus, tapi tak perlu banyak-banyak. Okay, kalau banyak-banyak susah mau sapu rumah. Okay, that's why kalau saya seorang, satu kerusi lah. Kenapa mau beli kerusi besar-besar? Unless I have bigger family, then I bought a new chair. Okay, but when I'm working, I need a lot of things. Screen kena banyak. Okay, for example, now I have 4 screen here. Okay, because that improve my productivity. Okay, so and the beginners. So make sure you design the workflow clear and easy to understand. Because that algorithm, for example, now you work in company A. Okay, you design the algorithm for your computer program. But maybe after 5 years, you go to another company. And then the new programmer want to do a modification into your program. So he will look into your algorithm. Dia tak tengok you punya program dulu. Okay, he will investigate your algorithm first, your workflow, your flow chart. Okay. Second, generality. Use the unsimplified, simple English. Later we will see all these components. Okay. Correctness. It must be correct lah. Okay. If you simply put the arrow, nanti kita tengok, it will create a problem in your program. Arrow is very important. Okay, flow line we call it. And also finiteness. Every program has limitation. Setakat ni saya tak pernah jumpa satu civil engineering program boleh solve semua. Understand? One software of civil engineering can solve structure, can solve geotechnic, can solve hydraulic. No. Why no? Because if they have, I'm not sure your computer can support that. Okay, the program is very heavy. First. Second, the price. Okay, the price. Contoh mau beli tu. Company kecil-kecil. For example, you want to start your civil engineering firm. Want to start, wah, software saja sudah 1 juta. How to start? Crack? No, don't do business with crack software. Itu tak betul. Okay, so that's why they make it finiteness, small chunk. Okay, for example, structure, analyze and design. So this is software. Procta, for example. Step Pro. Okay, so it's a small chunk. That's what we call as a finiteness, limitation. Okay. All right. So algorithm tools. Yeah? Okay, so this is 2 tools that we are going to learn. The first one is pseudocode. Pseudocode is easy, but sometimes it's confusing. Flowchart is the easiest, but it's very powerful. Okay, so what is pseudocode? Okay, so this is a very simple algorithm using a pseudocode. Okay, this is the way to calculate the BMI. Okay, to calculate the BMI. Semua tahu kan BMI apa? The ratio of your height and your weight. Okay, in order to classify you whether you are overweight, normal, or underweight. Okay, so they have their indicators. Okay, so let's say our intention is to make this program, a program that can calculate the BMI. So the second step is design. So I have to design the algorithm. So these are the first technique I can use a pseudocode. Okay. So you see, each of these component nanti you kena ada dalam you punya project. Pseudocode, flowchart, okay, everything have to be specified there. Okay. So pseudocode is a semi-formal. It's not a full English, semi ataupun semi or semi. Okay, I think in UK they call it semi. I'm not sure. I call it semi-formal. Okay, English-like language. Okay, bukan IBAN-like language, bukan bahasa Malaysia-like language, Chinese-like language, but English-like language. Okay, to describe the algorithm. Okay, so it has a keywords that is written in uppercase. Okay, that define the process and operands. Okay, so for example, begin. Begin is indicating a process, betul tak? Indicating a work. Begin. Nampak tak? When you want to use the apps, apa yang you kena buat? You kena open dulu, betul tak? So sama juga, when the program want to read, when your CPU want to read the program, it always know where is the terminal to start. So I can use the words begin here. Perlu tak saya gunakan begin juga to show that the program is started? I can use any other word, start for example, betul tak? I can use word start, which is similar meaning with begin. Okay, and then second is I want to declare the data type. Ini nanti kita tengok lah. Okay, declare the variables that we want to use. Okay, apa type dia? Okay, we will go further later in next week. Okay, so nampak tak dia punya flow? Boleh tak saya calculate dulu? Can I put the calculate before the input? It's not logic, right? Okay, if I put calculate before the input, where is weight and height coming from? Done. So I have to gather the input first. And the input here is weight and height. Okay. And before I can use them, I have to declare them first. Declare their data type. For example, float. Float is data type. Nanti kita akan tengok detail on this. Okay. BMI, ini adalah variables that we are going to use. Okay. Weight and height. So later on, I can put what is the weight. 50 kilogram, for example. Height, berapa? 150. And then after I have this input, then I can calculate the BMI. So you see the keyword here have to be in capital letter. Okay, have to be in capital letter. Okay, then after I calculate, then I can display ataupun output the BMI. Okay, display print, output. These are the words that you can use for here. Calculate, apa lagi keyword yang boleh pakai? Compute. What else? Compute, calculate. Itulah yang saya boleh fikir. Maybe you can think of more than this. Okay, so this is the most simple. And then after this, you have to end lah. Bila ada start, bila ada begin, dia ada end. You can use the word finish even. Okay, so you see all these have to be right in logical sequence. Tak ada saya tiba-tiba nak display BMI kat atas tu. Okay, is there any other solution other than this? Of course. Of course. For example, you don't want to use the variable weight. Apa you nak guna? Berat. Boleh. Okay. The things that must be English adalah keyword dia. Okay. Sebab tu dia kata semi-formal English-like language. If you write, declare the BMI, weight, and height as a float, that is not the pseudocode. Calculate the BMI using weight divided by height to the power of 2. That is not a keyword. That is not English semi-formal like language. Okay, itu adalah sentences. So tak boleh pakai, salah terus. Okay, jangan buat karangan when you design the pseudocode. Okay. So another method is using a flowchart. So banyak kerja kita nanti kita akan gunakan flowchart. Okay. So flowchart is a graphical representation. So other than this, I can use flowchart. Okay. So flowchart, it shows the flow of the data, the flow of the value, the flow of the variables from steps to another steps. Okay. So you see we have a terminal start here. And each of these, nampak tak shape dia berbeza? Ada yang shape apa? How do we call this? Parallelogram. The diamond shape. Not sure how the name of this shape. Okay. The rectangular with the not sharp edges. I call it like that. Okay, because it's a rectangular, but the edges is not sharp. Another one is rectangular with a sharp edges. This is not sharp. This is sharp edges. Okay. All right. So each shape, ini yang penting. Each shape of the following flowchart represent different states in your programming works. Okay. All right. So this is the function of each of the flowchart. Okay. Jangan risau, ini ada dalam buku. You don't have to write it. Even you don't have to screenshot it. Ada dalam buku. Okay. It's very detailed. Okay. So the first here, this is to indicate the start of your program. You have to remember, when you write a program, you need to have a terminal. Start and end. Itu terminal. Start and end. Okay, that is terminal. Okay. So after that, you can go for the declaration process. For example, declaration is a kind of process. You want to do some manipulation. You want to work with something. So that's why I use the upper shape ni, rectangular shape. So you see here the rectangular shape representing a process. A process could be a calculation. Okay, what else? The process. Updating the value. Okay, throughout the program we will see it. And then what else? The process. Declaring the variables is a process. Okay. And another steps is after I declare all these variables, so I can use this variable, correct? In my program. And then I have to gather the inputs. Without gather the input, then how the program run, betul tak? So you have to gather the input. So the shape here indicating using this parallelogram punya rectangular shape. Okay, input and output representing by this shape. Okay, and another one is a rectangular. We want to calculate the BMI equal to weight divided by height to the power of 2. So it's a process. So that's why I have to use a rectangular shape here. And then after I calculate the BMI, then I have to display the BMI value. Then I have to use a parallelogram punya shape. Okay. And then this is my final goal, and then I have to end the terminal. Okay. So you see, this is the way to show the algorithm using a flowchart. This is the way to show the algorithm using a pseudocode. The aim is similar. Okay, but of course later on we will get to see more sophisticated punya ni lah. Ini yang very simple. You see here, everything is from ikut flow. Betul tak? A straight flow. This is what we call as a sequential programming. Everything is in one flow. Dalam certain program, dia boleh jadi macam ni. Ini lain cerita nanti. Okay, this is what we call as a control structures, repetition and selection, which you will learn in bila in week 7, I guess. Okay, week 7, lama lagi. Okay, all right. So yeah, I think that's it for our class today. Okay, so we have another coding and debugging. Let me find that one. Sekejap ya. Okay, allow me to complete this terus. Saya rasa saya tak nak sambung. Oh, ini saya pecahkan. Okay, wait ya. Oops. Okay, let's note. Okay. Okay, this slide. Okay, so let me continue with this. Okay. All right. So this is you see here. Okay, this is your flowchart. Okay, the flowchart to calculate the BMI, as I mentioned earlier. Okay, so this is the program that you have to write. So each of these program, for example, start and end, you didn't see in the program. You tak nampak dia punya element. It's just to show the process. But when I start declaring, okay, so this is process of declaring float, enter your weight. This is process of declaring the inputs. Okay, and then what else? I have to input the weight and height. So also happen here. So I have to use input here. That shows. So setiap every of these component in your flowchart have to be represented here. Okay, so when you copy this program into your what we call IDE, you can run this one. Okay, you can run this one. Okay, so then you calculate the BMI. Nampak tak? Ini nanti saya akan cerita apa benda ni. Don't worry. Okay, kenapa ada simbol pound ataupun sekarang people call it a hashtag. It's not a hashtag, it's a pound symbol. Okay, and then display your output here. So you see, nampak tak? Print bla bla. Kenapa ada simbol ni? Ini adalah programming element that you are going to learn next class. Okay. Alright, so talk about another things that I want to highlight here. Okay, itu adalah, nampak tak tadi? When I able to do the program, okay, when I design the program, I have the flowchart, right? Then I have to write the program, betul tak? Where do I write that program? Microsoft Word. Tak boleh lah, Microsoft Word. Microsoft Word, you save, you tak boleh run. Dia jadi surat. So I need what we call a special program, the interface. Okay, the interface that I use to write the program. This is what we call as a Jupyter Notebook. Okay, Jupyter Notebook is the IDE. Okay, the integrated development environment that we use in our course. Okay, dia ada banyak lagi IDE that we can use. Spider, for example. Wing IDE. What else? PyCharm. Okay, to write the code using a Python languages. Okay, so in our course, in our class, we are going to use Jupyter Notebook. Okay, so to install the Jupyter Notebook, I will share you with the link later on. Okay, so next week, kita akan learn all these components. Together, how to create, kita akan berdasarkan problem. We have problem, we create the flowchart, we create the pseudocode, and then we write the program. That's the way we work. Okay, that's the way we work. Because you cannot simply know how to program. In this class, you need to know how to solve the problem. Develop a flowchart, that is the important components, okay, to show your critical knowledge. Okay, that's why I mentioned, it's not about writing the program sahaja. It's about solving the problem. Programming is solving the problem. Okay, solving the problem. Okay. All right. So let me check. Kita dah habis Okay, any other question from you guys? Ada soalan tak? Before we end this session. Banyak kita belajar ni. Okay, if you want to see, okay, let me demo to you. Okay, I can demo to you a little bit. Okay, so after you do the installation, okay, the Anaconda. So, okay, so this is my Anaconda icon. So if you use Mac, this is configuration, the things that you can see. If you use Windows, a little bit different. Okay, but you have to, you need to see this icon after you do the installation. We call it as Anaconda Navigator. Okay, sometimes programming a lot of, especially dia banyak nama, a lot of animal names. Python, Anaconda, what else? You have to remember Spider, yeah. Kalau you go for the big data punya ni, ada hive, bees, a lot, yeah. Okay, sekejap. Dia tengah buka Ya Okay, let me show with you. Lambat juga. Mungkin lama saya tak buka tu. Ada. Bukan lama tak buka. Ni. Okay, so when you open your Anaconda, okay, you will see this. Don't register anything. It doesn't require to register anything. Just download the installer and then you can just open this. Okay. So you see your when you run the Anaconda, so this is the place where your Python been installed. Okay, so halang saya demo terus lah the page ya. Okay, so search for Anaconda. Okay. All right, so you go to the product here. Okay, and then you go to individual edition. You click here. Okay, so if you use Mac, it will allow you to install it for the Mac version. So if you use, I'm not sure where is the kalau Windows, okay, must be you check ya. You punya Windows dia guna berapa bit? 64 ke 32? Biasa sekarang 64 lah. Okay, ataupun 86. So 86 you can use 64. Okay, Linux saya rasa tak ada siapa pakai. Okay, so you can install this. So if you install your Python through Anaconda, so we use this version, Python 3.8. Okay, the recent version is 3.93. I forget, but that is the latest version if I'm mistaken. But do not do any updates. Okay, so that's why when you do the installation, just follow my videos. Just follow that. Jangan nak install benda lain, nanti kacau Sebab ada satu section, dia dah install. Dia semangat, dia tak tunggu wah, dia tak boleh install. Sistem dia dah crash, ya. Okay, so here I do this part 3, this one, part 4. Okay, and also the lesson that we learned today is available also in my YouTube channel. Okay, you can subscribe or you can tapi saya tak paksa. Okay, I don't want to increase number of subscribe by paksa. Kalau you nak dengan rela hati, you want to be my follower in my YouTube channel, please go ahead. Okay, so saya tak mau paksa. Okay, I don't want to make money, but kalau ada lain kali banyak-banyak tu okay lah. Kalau sekadar nak kumpul-kumpul, then in the future I get and no need. Yeah. Okay, my intention is just to show the knowledge. Yeah. Okay, so here, so I will teach you how to do the installation. Okay, so everything is just a straightforward process. So bagusnya saya gunakan dekat sini saya guna Windows saja. Okay, so you need to check berapa bit that you use. Yeah. Okay, how many bits? Yeah? For example, tadi 64, so I use 64. So it's very simple. Okay, very simple process. Okay, so the error takkan berlaku kalau you follow my instruction. Okay, and then after that, after you do the installation, maybe you want to do the explore sikit. Okay, understanding. Okay, part 4 nanti you tengok part 5 pula. Okay, so part 5 ni before you come to dah ada iklan. Maksudnya dah ada duit video ni. Dia dah ada iklan. Okay, kenapa dia letak iklan? I'm not sure. Just tak ada kaitan. Tak adalah So I'm not sure why, but it's okay. Alright, so here you can see how to open your, macam mana you nak switch on your Jupyter Notebook. Okay, so you please follow a little bit, run a little bit code according to the video that I provide. So nanti senang saya ajar. You senang faham, saya senang ajar. Sebab tu saya buat video. Okay, I made this video purposely for you. Okay, for all my students lah, not only for you, but to all my students. Yeah. Okay. So let's try to open. No harm for us to open. So click launch here. Okay. So when I click launch, if you use Windows, this is your command prompt. Jangan padam tu. Okay. Kalau you padam, you tak boleh run nanti. Okay. You tak boleh run. So basically, when you create the file, okay, you create the file, you go to your desktop. Supaya file you dekat desktop. Okay. So click new Python 3. Okay. So now if you open your desktop, lepas you buka Jupyter Notebook ni, so you see tadi saya tekan Jupyter Notebook here. Right? So after I open that, I can close this, but don't close this one. This is kernel for your interface to communicate with your Python punya root packages. Okay, so kalau kita tengok dekat sini, dia gunakan my web browser, betul tak? Okay, they open this Jupyter Notebook using a web browser. Okay, so that's why this program we call that as mana dia? Ada dekat sini. Okay, saya dah padam kot tadi. Saya dah padam, tak apa. Okay, it's based on web-based application. Okay, if you use Windows, maybe your default browser could be Google Chrome, maybe, ataupun Edge, EDGE. Okay, I'm recommend for you to use Edge lah. Okay, Google Chrome kadang-kadang dia crash, saya tak tahu, because dia banyak extension. Okay, Google Chrome banyak extension dan sometimes crash and slow a little bit. Okay, saya guna Safari, should be fine. Okay, so kalau tengok dekat sini, so you see here entitled, right? Okay, entitled here. So when I go to the desktop tab here, okay, so you see I already create the Jupyter Notebook file. This is my program file. Okay, so if I go to my desktop, I will see this file. Ini file dia. Okay, this is the file for my Jupyter Notebook yang saya nak type saya punya program tadi. Okay, the one that I created here. Okay, and this is the main interface ataupun what we call as the workspace of our Jupyter Notebook. Ini adalah kita panggil sebagai dia punya main page for the Jupyter Notebook. Okay, this one is the workspace for the file that we create. So this is what we call as cells. So benda ni nanti saya tak akan bagi tahu dalam kelas, but you have to watch in my YouTube. Okay, otherwise it takes a lot of time for me to explain. Okay, kalau YouTube 11 minit habis. Kalau saya cerita 1 jam habis, confirm. So that's why I want to eliminate that kind of ni, because saya akan cerita panjang. Okay, so you have to watch that. Is it okay for you? Okay, okay. By the way, ada satu kelas lagi yang sepatutnya minggu ni, yang semalam, dia semalam, yesterday they don't have class because public holiday, you know. So that's why I want to match you guys and see how it works. Let's see how it works. Okay, next week you still have class. Maybe the next week after, okay, the first week of November tu, maybe I have to give you the works. Okay, maksudnya kelas secara asynchronous lah, boleh tak? Okay, asynchronous. So that's why sometimes we have class live like this. Sometimes we have asynchronous. So I use a video, and you have to submit. That's it. Easy. Yeah. Okay. So here you can type program. So print hello world contoh. You don't have to type. Saya saja nak type. Okay. So I can write here. Okay. And when I run, so I can print my hello world as a result. Okay. I can 1 plus 1. Run it, so it calculate 2 for me. Okay. All right, so even A equal to 1, B equal to 2, and then C equal to A plus B. Okay, then, so A plus B, so supposed to be the answer would be 3, but no answer. Why? Because I didn't call for that answers. So you have to call print using print C. So C is a keyword here for you to print the result. Okay, ini demo saja. Nanti I will teach you detail. No worry. Ini demo saja. Okay. So, this is your main program. Contoh, saya padam. Saya tutup. Okay. I close. Save it first. Okay, you can save it. Maybe I rename it something. Rename it as what? ABC program. Yeah, ABC program. Okay, rename. Okay, satu tips yang paling bagus dalam programming, when you start programming, because we are engineering student, I'm engineering lecturer, you are engineering student, jangan start, ini demo je. To really understand the programming, you start with this problem, 1 plus 1. Okay, you extend it into this kind of program, nanti kita canggihkan dia lagi. That is the way to learn programming, not print hello world. Okay, alright, so now I rename ABC program. So you see here, nampak tak? Dia dah update the name. Okay, and then if you see in your desktop, the file here already been updated juga. Okay, so the extension here IPYNB. Maksudnya IPython notebook. Sebelum nama dia ada, before the name is, what do you call? Before the name Jupyter Notebook, they call this, apa nama? They call this as dia ada satu term, saya lupa. They call this IDE, ataupun Integrated Development Environment. They call this as a IPython notebook before this. Sebab tu, that's why the extension is IPYNB. IPython notebook NB. But now they call it as a Jupyter notebook. Okay, they already renamed that. Okay, dashboard. Okay, so this is our dashboard for the Jupyter notebook. Two terms. Okay, so let's say I close. How to open it back? How to open it? You cannot just double click on this. Tak boleh. Okay, you have to open it through your Jupyter punya interface. Jupyter dashboard. Okay, so here you just click this and it will open the file that you already saved. Okay, so that's it. And then later on in the video dia akan tunjuk lah apa benda ni sikit, and along the way we will understand this. Kalau saya nak tunjuk ni terus, it takes a lot of time. I think it's better for me to teach you along the way. Okay, so starting from next week, kita hands-on. Very simple hands-on first. We solve the problem based on the flowchart and pseudocode, and then we will extend the knowledge, using other elements that we identify. Okay, so in order for us to finish the class early within, as I mentioned to you, week 8 or week 10, mungkin kelas kita lama sedikit lah at a certain time. Okay, our class will be 2 hours, but I will ensure you will not get bored. Okay, with the story, with the example that we use. Okay, so we make learn as fun lah. Okay, mungkin kadang-kadang kita boleh cepat habis, kadang-kadang we have to panjang masa lah. Kalau tak nanti kita kena habis 14 week. Saya takut you guys tak ada masa nak buat project. I don't want to do that. Okay, so kita habis awal, you ada masa untuk buat project. Okay, and the easiest thing is this doesn't have final. Itu yang best. Tapi dia kena ada 2 test. Okay, alright. Okay, so anything else? Okay lah. So please install Anaconda distributor. Bila you install Anaconda, you automatically install your Python punya interpreter lah. Okay, so no question. Can we end our class? Boleh ya? Yes. Siapa ni?
Nak tanya doktor hari tu, doktor cakap grup doktor yang tentukan kan?
Macam saya kena tentukan. Saya
boleh tak kalau nak pilih sendiri?
Tapi yang lain-lain macam mana nanti?
Saya setuju pilih sendiri.
Pilih sendiri?
Pilih sendiri.
Saya setuju.
Pilih sendiri ya? Tak apa, minggu kelima kita akan decide. Don't worry, belajar dulu. Minggu kelima saya akan decide. Boleh tak? Okay, I will consider. Okay, and then I will decide. Because kenapa saya kena pilih? Sebab saya rasa I want everyone to get mixed together lah. Okay, get along together. Itu je dia punya ni. But if let's say you suggest you want to pilih, I'm consider, but week 5 I will decide. Okay, so setakat ni jangan risau pasal tu dulu. No stress. No stress about who is your group. It doesn't matter. Okay, but the most important things adalah ni. Tapi satu risk dia, bagi yang tak ada group, saya akan masuk ke mana-mana group. Bagi yang terlebih group, saya akan ambil seorang tu letak group lain. Okay, itu race dia. Kalau saya yang bagi, senang. You takkan tak ada group punya. There will be no issue of that, no groups. Okay, alright. So anyway, nanti class monitor will help me about the group lah. Okay, about the group, how do we arrange that? Okay, macam mana saya nak recordkan you punya group. Nanti kalau tak susah, sistem saya, tiba-tiba suddenly, before submission, the student tell me no group, no marks lah. No group, no marks. Easy. Unless you can do your own project. Tapi don't lah. Saya tak galakkan lah. You tak ada markah in term of effective nanti. Okay, because it's a group work. Okay. Alright. Okay, anything else? About the lesson today. Okay, boleh faham tak? Boleh ya? Okay, nanti you tengok balik YouTube channel saya and then I will upload. Kalau saya terlupa, kelas monitor boleh remind. Kadang-kadang saya lupa. Okay, upload ni lah. Nanti, but I try after this to upload. Ataupun besok lah. Okay, biasa saya buat besok, hari Khamis. Everything will be uploaded. Not only for your class, there is another class too. Okay. Alright, no question? Okay. Alright, can we end this session today? And I see you next week at 2 p.m. No late. 2 p.m. kita terus start. So I will be in the system at 1:55. Okay, 1:55. Okay. So thank you very much, everyone. So I wish you have a good day and bye-bye. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you, Doctor.